Hello, everyone. I am Tanya Prakash, and I was former summer intern in Goldman Sachs, and I will be uh, joining it as full time soon. So, telling about my education, I am now pursuing masters in mathematics and computer science, and I'm in my final year. So today we are going to make a very interactive and quite simple app that is a job portal using Node.js, Express, and Bootstrap and EJS. So let's wait for some few minutes and then we can start. Okay, so let's start it. For making this app, we will need Node.js, Visual Studio Code. So I think I am assuming that you all are having Node.js and Visual Studio Code. So if you don't have, you can just go and download Node.js. And if you want to download Visual Studio Code, you can go to the Chrome and download your Visual Studio Code. The links will be shared in the chat box. And if you still are not able to download it and continue, you can just wait and start it all over. Okay, so now starting with the application. This is a Visual Studio Code. You can first make a folder. You can go to the file, go to the open folder section, and open the folder that you want to open. Now it's open here. Now go to the terminal, open the terminal, and if you want to see that your npm and everything is installed properly, you can go and write npm space minus minus version to see the version of the npm if it is installed properly or not. You can see that I'm getting the version of npm here. Now, first thing that we need to make for a Node.js app is that we need to make it. So I'm writing npm in it. It will initialize the npm, the application with the node. So when you will write the command as npm in it, you can see it is coming as package name. The name is coming by default, the folder name which I have been used. Then you can see the version. Then description, you can write job search portal, and then the entry point is coming test command, no need, git repository, no need. Author, you can write your own name. For I am writing here my name, and then you can write okay. So after completing this thing, you will see a package.json has appeared on your screen. Okay, so that package.json will contain everything that you have just mentioned, like the name, version, description, and everything. Now, when you need, first of all, we will start with a simple file that is server.js, because we are making everything for in the backend. So we will need the server file. So in this, the first thing that I will be using, installing some of the packages. So the first package is Express, and I'm making a variable, and then I'm writing require Express. So what is Express here? Express is nothing, but it is a minimal and flexible Node.js web application framework that whenever you will use this package, it will provide the basic features in web and for the web and mobile applications. So you can see that it is coming, when we are using this package, we need to install it. So I am going to write npm install Express. So it will install the Express package for you. You can see. Okay. Now the package is installed. The next package which will be needed is body parser. Sometimes we need much more than the URL or the API we hit. We require some of the body of the URL and other things also. So this is done using the body parser command. So when I'm writing body parser, I need to again install it. So npm install body parser, and it will install the package for you. Next thing that I need is an app, because we are making a Node app. So Node and Express app. So I will write let app is equals to Express. Now I will be using the body parser to get the body other than the API or the URL that we hit. We require some of the body or some information about the body. So I will be writing body parser dot JSON. Use is basically used for the middlewares. So body parser is also middleware. Now, whenever you make any app or any website, you have some domain or the URL. So we are also making the route for it. So only a single forward slash says that it's the home domain. Like you can see when you visit Floxus website, you see the domain of Floxus, and then when you visit to another page of Floxus, say sessions page, so you will see floxus.com and slash sessions. So these are the routes of a web page. So here I am writing app.get and the route, and then there are two things that we require. One is the request, another one is the response. Request is something that we send to the server, and response is something that the server sends to the user. I'm sending a request of getting the uh, features of a or the bookings of a hotel or a movie. The server, the request that I'm sending, that I want to book a ticket for, say, Brahmastra. So it will send me back the response of the ticket bookings. So I will require two things: request, comma, response, and then the arrow function. So here in the response, I'm just making a simple one so that when I'm hitting the route, so the server should return a response in the form of just hello world. And then I'll close it. Now, whenever you make a website or web page, you require some images or many different static files. So I'm using public.use express.static to use all the static files from this folder, public folder. Now, every website runs on a domain, and here we are using localhost to do it. So we are making a port for it. So app dot, so first of all we will make the port const port is equals to process dot I'm really sorry, there was some internet glitch. Okay, so here I'm writing, I'm using a port. So process.env dot port, and in the option giving the port number as 8000. Okay, now I want my app to listen at this port. So basically I am using the port. Okay, so we are using the port as 8000. So whenever in we can directly use that 8000 because we're not creating the environment variables. But in future, whenever you want to do, you can use it like that. Now I am just making my app to listen at this port, and then I'm writing port, the function. So I want to check that whether it is running on the port or not. So it is writing console.log listening at port. And if you want to just give a message like listening on port something 8000, you can use double quotes for it or single quotes. But if you want to show something dynamic, so you need to use a backtick here. So I'm using a backtick. So I want to show my port in the form of dynamic form. See, this port is stored in the variable port. So if I want to show it, I can use it like backtick and then just give the dollar sign and the curly brackets on the variable that you want to show. So this is done. Now I'm saving it. And for running the app, you can use node server.js. So it is running on the app. Now I will go and I'm writing localhost, the colon, and the port number. So you can see hello world is coming here, which means that your server is running properly. And the response that you want your server to send was the hello world, which is coming properly here. So now this was a simple way of running your server and making a simple app here. Now see, whenever you will make any changes, like I'm writing here 9000 or something, you need to save it. But every time you need to run your server again and again. So you can use a package known as nodemon. So you can directly npm install nodemon and it will install it for you. And whenever you will write nodemon server.js, it will automatically update your changes and run the server. So for the next step, what we need to make a simple file which will contain hard-coded companies and the title and the position and the links of every company, because this is was first just the beginning of the session. So and the first session also, so we are not going in the depth of using web scraping and all. So for this we have just used a file in which the companies I have hard coded, and we will see how we can take the data from a file and show it on the web page. So for that, I'm using file.json. So I have all the data here. So I can copy it directly from here and paste it. So there are many data, as you can see, it is an array of different objects. So the first object contains title, link, visited, applied, and notes. Title is the company name and the position for their hiring. Link is the link for the uh, particular page. Web visited is like you want your app to not show every job again and again, which you have already visited or already applied. So for that we have used visited and applied. And then notes is here to, if you want to add some notes to your particular job portal, you can add it for the particular job. So this is the file. Now how to read this file, because we want to our server to read this file. So how we can read this file? So for reading a file, you can directly use const fs, that is file system, which require fs. So fs stands for file system. So we need to install again it, npm install fs. Now, which file I need? I will write the location of that file, which is file.json. So it will use that file. Now, for making the HTML and CSS, I in when we are using Node.js, we can't use HTML here. We need to use EJS, which is embedded JavaScript. It will be similar to almost the HTML, but it will be a little different in and more advantage. It will contain much more advantage. So where we are going to make a folder of views, and then inside the views, I will make index.ejs. So I have a little code of the first few lines of my page. So you can see that it's doc type HTML, document type HTML. We have made the language as English. Then the similar things that we used to do in HTML and same. Then I have used some bootstrap codes here. So I have given the link for the bootstrap here. Now, next, I have made a navbar. So I have used the class as navbar inverse, navbar stick top, and the container, which is containing different navbar, the items of the navbar, which is home and applied. Now, after this, if I want to show this navbar on my page, how can I show it? Let me share. So I have saved it. Now going to the server. Here I have taken the file and the FS system. Now, whenever you use EGS, which is also view engine, you need to make sure that you have installed it and written it here. So how we can write it? App dot set view engine and then the EGS. So I have used it here. Now, when I am writing it here, I am using just sending the response in the form of writing a hello world. Now, when I'm using a file system, I can write at fs dot read file, means file system should read file. Which file I'm mentioning? I'm mentioning the variable file. And then every request or response gives two things. One is the error and another is the data. So I'm sending error, comma, data, and then the arrow function. So I'm writing if it is giving an error, I should just return response dot send error. Okay. But if not, else I will tell my server to return the response and render my page, which is index.ejs. So it is done. So let me save it and we need to install EJS. Okay, and I will run my server. Okay, it's saying node more not found. We will see what is happening further. Let's run the server first. It's saying EGS is not defined, but I have installed the in EGS npm install EGS. Okay. Okay, it's saying server.js 8. Okay, this should be in, sorry, it should be in quotes. Saving it, running it again. Yeah, it's running. Now you can go and refresh it. You can see the navbar is coming here. So it is rendering your view engine page, that is EJS page, instead of the hello world. So now I want my uh, page to contain a card in which the company's name and different properties should show. So I will make that. So in the after the nav, I will make a div, and after this div, I will make another div with class as container, and then now here comes the advantage of EJS. Now whenever you use HTML, you can't show something that is dynamic, right? You need to use JavaScript for it. But here in EJS, you can directly use it dynamically. How? Like if I want my company, every company is coming here. Sometimes like my file is having only 100 companies and you have applied to all the 100 companies. It should not show that companies again. You should just show that this is there was this many companies only and you have applied to all the companies. So I'm giving a condition if the company is present there, which means that we have some companies left to get it applied. So how we can use this if condition? That was not possible in HTML, right? So here if you can directly use it like percentage if, give the title, because the title is present there. You can see in the file the title is present there. If the title is present, you can directly give the percentage and you can use it like this. And now if there is a if condition, there should be a else condition. So like this, you need to use the else condition also. Okay, and you can close it here. Okay, so if condition, and then we will also handle the else condition. So what should be in the if condition? If the companies are present there, I should show the companies. Okay, so you can directly use like div class is equals to card, and then I will give certain style which will be width as 50 rem. You can use it accordingly, and box shadow which will be equal to 0px, 1px, 2px, and RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.1. Okay, and then I'm giving certain border radius which is 6px, and some background color, so background, and then I'm giving E1, E1, E1. So then I'm using margin top as 2%. So this is the complete styling of the div. Now inside the div, you can just place any image also, like image class is equals to card, and then img, and then top. This is the class of the bootstrap. You can visit the page and use it from there. And then you can give some styling or something, and then we need to give the source. I'm not giving any image here, you can use it on your own. And then after the source you can give alt or width or height something. So I'm giving a width of 300 and also a height of 300, and you can give some style as is equals to margin left as 18% and margin top also 40px. So these are the certain stylings that I have used. You can use it accordingly. Okay. So this is the image. Now I want a div to show all the content like the title, like many other properties. So I am using a div with class is equals to card body, and then inside the div, sorry, okay, card body, and to this card you can first of all give the h3 tag to give the title. So h3 should also contain some class which is the card title. So after this card title you can give certain stylings also. So giving the style as margin as 20px. Okay, so these are the certain stylings. So how you know that the title of the company should be dynamic. It is fetching it from the database. It should be dynamic. How we can dynamically use it here? So as you know, when you need to give certain condition, we used percentage and then we give the condition. But whenever you want to show something like you want to show the title dynamically, so you can directly write percentage is equal to title, and then you can close it. So you will see that it will contain this percentage equal to, and it will give you the title. Similarly, if you want to show the link visited, many other things. So let me do it for you. So this is a UL tag. Okay, inside the UL tag, this is the li tag, and in the li tag, I'm giving the link of the particular page. So link colon. So link should be in the anchor tag. So I'm using a href, and this href should be dynamic, right? Because the link is getting from the file .json, and it should be dynamic. So again, we have to do it like percentage equal to link, and then percentage, and then close it. And after that, I'm giving target is equals to new. So this is my anchor tag. So after this, I will close it. So you can see the anchor tag is done. Now after this, you need to show the link also, right? Because this was the link to the page. Now I need to show it. How can I show it? Again with percentage equal to, and then I can directly write link percentage this. So this is the way you can show it directly. Now I want to show that whether I have seen this company or not, like I have visited this company website, or I have applied this company website or not. So just using li so colon, and again how I can see, because my JSON file contains visited as a object, so I can directly write percentage is equals to visited, and then percentage. Similarly, I can use it for my applied, and it should be applied. Now I have done up till this part. If we want to see this, how we can see? Because our EJS file doesn't know that it has to take this saw or applied from a file, right? So in the server.js, whenever we are rendering the file, we need to show that, yeah, we are using a file and we need to render it from there. Okay, so here when I'm writing as if error, I need to give, let us remove this part, and I need to give let source. I'm using a variable let source is equals to JSON dot parse. Parse is nothing which is used to convert or what you can say that change into some form. So parse data, and then source is equals to source dot filter company. I'm using a variable company because we need to filter it with the company that we have already visited. So company dot visited. So we need to filter with all the companies that we have not visited. So this is the one. Now I need to make one source length, because whenever we are applying for the companies, or the job portal should show every time a random company. How we can give fetch that random companies every time? So we need to use some random math.random, and we need to pass the index of that random in the company array, because you can see that there was an array of companies. Okay, so we will make a logic to get the random value, and then we will pass that random value in the array. So I am writing if source dot length, because every time you need to fetch it with the companies that you have not applied or not visited. So every time you need to see that the company length should be greater than 0, which means that every time when you have applying to the companies, it will become less, and it should every time be greater than 0. That's why we are giving the condition that it should be a positive number and greater than 0. So I'm using a const ind index, and then I'm writing math dot floor, and then math dot random, and multiplying it with the in length of my source. So length. So I will get a random index value, and when I will get it, I will make a const ind is equals to source index, and then I will just write response dot render, and I will render my index file, and I will pass this index value here. And if it is not passing, I will use an else part, which will be okay, which will be response dot render the index of the error and the title with null, because when there is no companies left to fetch, you can just return as null. So this is done. Okay, I think there is an extra, so you can save it, and we can just directly go and see if it is fetching or not. Okay, there is some issue. Let's see. So yeah, I have written ns. Okay, so it's giving title is not defined. Okay, let's see what is happening, why our title is not defined. Okay, so fs dot read file, okay, fs dot read file error and data, and then if error, return response dot send error if source, and json dot parse data, and source equals to source dot filter. We are filtering it. Okay, index is math dot float math dot random into source dot length. Okay, I'm written here wrong. Okay, and then const index sources. Okay, now let's see. Okay, here let's see what is the issue. If title, okay, if I'm sending my title, it should contain the container if title and I'm sending the title. It is giving the error if title is not defined. Okay. If title is not defined. 24. It is saying that there is an issue in line number 24. So let's see what is the issue that is coming. If title, okay. And then we are mentioning the title. Okay, let's give a space here. And then it's saying title. Let's save it and try again. Okay, title is not defined. Saying title not defined. Okay, then we are closing it also. Then we are going to the else part, and okay, to the else part we can just give here h1 tag that no more companies. Okay, and close it. There I think no issues present. Okay, I think there is issue in, okay, we have not saved this file server.js, and then running it. I think it should work. Yeah, you can see the issue was it that we have not saved the server.js, so it was not fetching the file. And if your EJS is not fetching the file, how it will know that which title you are mentioning? So that was the main issue that we are getting. Now we will make some buttons. So after that, I can directly use the buttons. I have some code present with me, so I can directly use the buttons code here with me. So okay, so we are using these buttons here. So now when we are using the when we are making a div, we are making a node text area in which we will put all the nodes. So what we are doing here, we are directly fetching dynamically the nodes from the files that we have made, and it will fetch the nodes for the particular company. Now there will be three buttons: I saw, I applied, and submit nodes. Okay, now let us see if it is working or not. So you can see this is the company name. This is the link of the company. This is coming as saw as false because you have not seen it. It's the first time that you're seeing the job offer, and then you are seeing here applied as false because you have not applied to it. This is a note that you want to write any note about this company. And then there are three buttons: I saw, I applied, and submit notes. So whenever you will do click on, we want a functionality that when I'm clicking on I saw, it should automatically reload my page, and it should also fetch the another company. And when I'm clicking on I applied, we will make one page here of applied where you can see all the companies names that you have applied for it. Okay, for now it will do nothing because we have just made the view of this page. Now we will go to we will make one another folder which will be public, and then here I will make one file as script.js. In the script.js, we will mention all the functionalities which we want our particular buttons to perform. So the first button was submit button. So let submit notes is equals to document dot query selector. What is query selector? Query selector will select the first id of the first element which will have that particular id. If I'm mentioning the id as submit notes, it should fetch the first element with this particular id. So then I will make submit notes dot add event listener. What does this event listener do? It will just event listener do what? Whenever you do any event. So here what we will do, we will have made a button. We have made a button. Whenever I'm clicking on that particular button, we will add some event. So to this, I'm writing click, and then I'm mentioning the function which it should perform after clicking. So this is the function, and inside this function, what it should do, first of all, we will fetch the nodes of everything that we have for the a particular company that we want to push. So document dot query selector, and then we are mentioning hash nodes, and then we will make one function which name as post json. So we will make this function. We will pass two things to this function. First, the route, and second, the JSON thing that we want to push it. So first is the route. So here is notes, and then we are putting title. And what will be the title? Title will be the submit notes dot data set dot title, because we need to give the title of to the of to we need to give this note to the company in which we are writing the notes for. So here it will fetch the title, uh, it will fetch the title of that particular company, and it will just push it to that particular company. So notes colon whatever the value of notes that you have written, so notes dot value. Now first let us make this particular function. So I am making function post JSON. To the function, we know that we will pass two things, URL and JSON. So in the URL here, there is, we will first of all return new promise. So what is a promise? It is similar to the real promise that we made, that whenever we are doing some task, we will first complete this task and then we will go to the next task. So we are making a promise that we will possibly complete this task. So function, it will take two things, resolve and reject. So now we are making an XML HTTP request, which is extensible markup language. It is it does not need to refresh your page again and again. It will directly refresh it for you and send you the response. So here we are using new XML HTTP request, and then xhr dot open. So this will be a post request. So I'm writing open, and then we are using the post request and the URL in which we want to post it, like the slash nodes or slash applied, which we will use. Now, every time when you send some request to the server, you want to see that your request was successful or not. You want to get a response from the server that, yeah, it was successful or it was unsuccessful, or what was the error that, and what was the error because of which it was not successful. So you want to know about everything. So we are using a xhr.on ready state change, which will have a handler function. So we will make this handler function. Now whenever you send whenever you hit an API, it requires some content header, like whatever is the format that you want to get the uh, whole data. Like here I want to get the whole data in the form of JSON. So I'm writing xhr dot set request header, as content type, and then I'm writing application slash JSON, and then I'm writing here char set is equals to UTF-8, which means that the way I want in the form of English. So this is thing. Now you want to send a response because this was in the form of JSON. So you want to stringify it, which means you want to convert in the form of string. So JSON dot stringify JSON. Okay, so this is done. Now I will make the function handler, and what it will do, it will see that your response was successful or not. So if it was successful, it will do this particular two things. If it was not, it will give you the error message. So if xhr dot ready state is equal to 4, and also I'm saying if this dot status to the particular object, this dot status was 200 or not, which means 200 stands for successful. So if it was 200, we will resolve it as this dot response, and if it was not, we will go to the else part, and then we will do reject with a new error. Okay, and to this error I will pass the function post JSON. Now I want to know the errors. I'm using backtick, in which URL it is giving the error, right? There will be multiple URLs like nodes, applied, so I'm using backtick and then URL, and then closing it, backtick failed with state. It will show you the state, like there was unsuccessful, like 400 or 500, or what was the error that it was coming. So state, and then you can directly write colon, and then this dot status, and you can close it. So this was the post function. Now when you use promise, you have to say that after this promise is done, what next it has to do. So when this promise part is done, it has to go to then and function response. So when you are giving a successful response, it should do what? It should console.log the response, and then you should close it. So this is done. Now we will repeat this for I saw and applied. So let's copy it, paste it 2 times. So here it will not be submit nodes, it will be applied, and it should not be submit nodes, it should be applied. Now here also applied, and then we don't need this nodes part. Okay, and we don't need to send this nodes too. Okay, so now it will be applied URL. Same here, it should be saw, it should be saw, it should be saw, and this we need to remove. Okay, so this part is done. Let us see. So if we are using, if we are writing this function but we are not calling this post request in server, it will return 404. So let's see whether it is returning or not. Let us open the inspect. Okay, So you can see it is coming as 404, which means that it is running, but now we have to go to our server.js and write the particular post request. So going back to server.js, here I will write app dot post request and the route. So I'm writing applied, and then I will send two things, request comma response, and then it will have fs because the file system should read the file, read file, which file, the file variable, and then it will have two things, error and data. Now after this, if error, then it should return the response dot send error, because we need to handle our error also. Then we will write the source, let source is equals to json dot parse data, and now after that, source should map over all the array elements, right? So we will use a map function. So source dot map, I'm using a variable as job, and then I will see that the job title, like I'm clicking on a particular job, I want to apply for it. So it will see that the job title, it will go to the file system, the file.json, and now see, consider you are applying for Microsoft. So Microsoft is the response that the job title that you're applying, it will go and fetch the same job title in the file system, and then it will perform the particular thing. So I need to give a condition as job dot title should be triple equal to, because double equals only checks the type and triple equals to check for the type and the data also. So request dot body, request dot body dot title, and then I will, if it matches the request of the company that you are sending, if it matches to the particular title in the file.json, what we need to do, we need to make that job dot applied as true, because now it is true. And then we need to make a job dot date applied, because if you want to know the date on which you applied for the particular company, so you can directly use new date and then convert it to string, to date string. Okay, so this is done, and then you can job underscore applied is equals to void saying error. Okay. Job date applied is equals to new date. Let's see why it's saying error. Now we will return this job, and we'll come here and let make one variable string, which will do json dot stringify the source, because now when you are applying for the particular job, you need to go to next job, right? So source dot stringify source, then null, and then you need to do two jumps, then fs dot write file, file comma str comma error which we want to send, and then if error, it will return the error message, console dot log error, and then if not, it should send the status as 200, send status as 200. Now let's see why it was giving the error. If I'm applying, then request and response, there was some error expected in line 33. Why? Let's see. Okay, So fs.file, okay, file, this is perfect. Now if error return response dot send error, json.parse data, okay, and job, okay, we are doing a mapping. If job.title is request.body.title and job.title is true, and this date dot job dot update applied is new date dot, it's working fine. White saying expected this. Have we done any error here? Job. Okay. Hmm. So if JSON is there, okay, file and editor, error return response dot send error, source for JSON, okay, sources mapping, if job dot title, request dot body dot title, and job dot visited is true. Okay, but why is saying that it should? Hmm. Okay, if I'm putting underscore, sorry, it should be underscore. So let's save it, go to the terminal, run it, it's working fine. Now we will do the same thing for the saw. Like we have applied, now we will do the same thing for the saw part. So here I will change it to saw. Then if I am seeing a particular job offer, I should not apply or do the date part. I should directly do that job dot, I should remove this part. And if I'm seeing a particular job offer, I should just make this as job dot visited is equals to true. So that if I'm seeing a particular job offer, I should just make it as true, and so that I do not visit it again and again. Okay, because it will be really hectic for us to apply for the same companies again. So now I will also do one thing, that if I'm posting a apply part, like if I'm applying for a particular company, that company should also not come to our portal again and again. So if I'm doing get request, because why get request, because I want that from the server side, I want this to get from the server, that it should not send me the same companies again. So that's why I'm doing the app.get. So if I'm doing app.get, I should write the URL, that is applied, and then the request and response, same thing, comma, response, and the arrow function. Now here, same thing, file fs dot read file, same file, comma, error, comma, data, and then using the arrow function. So now here what we'll do, first we will handle the error. So if error, return response dot send error. Okay, now let source is equals to json dot parse data, same thing. And now here we will do what, here we will filter our source. So source dot filter, and then what we will filter, we are making a variable as co, that will refer to as company, co dot applied. Okay, so now we are filtering it, and then response dot render, it should render this. We are doing it for the second page, which is applied page, because there I want my page to also get everything that we have applied, like the company name, the link name, everything. So here when I'm using app.get, I want this from the server. that if I'm sending a request, I will get back this as a response. So I will render my applied page, and then applied colon source, and then we can end this part. So let's save it and see if it is working fine or not. Every files are saved. Let's refresh it. So inspect, go to inspect, go to console. If I'm doing ISO, you can see it's giving an OK message. And then if I'm applied, it's also giving an OK message. Okay. So it's done. Now going to again my part script.js. Here what I have done that when I'm applying to it, it's just returning the response. I also want that it should reload and send another company, right? Because when you are applying for a particular company, it should reload it and send another company for you. So what I will do here, I will just write window dot location dot reload, and it should reload here. Same thing I will do for the saw. Let's save it, run it again. You can see when I'm seeing it is changing to different page. Now you can see that I have applied to Salesforce. Okay, so let's go and see if it is applying or not. And if I'm seeing that it's coming as okay or not, okay, okay, it's giving perfectly. So now we'll go and make another view page, which will be our applied.js. So let's make applied.js. So we have done the same URL as applied as get request, and then here copying the first few things from here to here. Okay, so now after this, let's see, it should be EJS. My bad. Okay, now after the navbar, what we need to do, we need to make a table. Like I want a table of all the companies that I've applied with the link and the date that I have applied. Okay, so here I am going, then I'm making a particular, let's copy it from this part. Okay, that div class is equals to, I'm using a div class as jumbotron, and then I am making a div with class is equals to container. Okay, now to this div I will give an h1 tag that here is all the companies that you have applied. Here are all the companies that you have applied, and then after the this div we are going to make another div with class is equals to container, and now I will make another table with class is equals to table, and table striped. Okay, now to this table I'm giving some table head, t head. Okay, to this head I'm giving the t row and the value as company, and then I will give another values like link and date applied. So this is the end of my the row, the first heading part. Now I will make the header part, the body part, I mean. So to the body part, it will fetch dynamically what are the companies that I have applied and the links and the date I have applied. Okay. So I will use here T body. To the T body, what I will do, I will go to each and every element of the applied part. Okay, so for that I need to dynamically do it because it should be dynamic. So percentage applied dot for each goes to each and every element, and then it will write the function, and the function I'm using a variable as company, and then you can see it here as this, and let's give a percentage sign. So this is a function that we are making and it is dynamic. So that every time when you are increasing the size of the applied companies, it should increase automatically. So now to each and every row, I am making a data of, now the company should also be dynamic because it's fetching from the database, the file system. So percentage is equals to co dot the variable name and the title. Okay, and then closing with a percentage here. Now if I want to get the link, so I can directly copy it here, paste it here, and here it should what, it should be a co dot link. If you want to make it as anchor tag, you can do it also. Now it should be company dot applied. So to the same company I will write date applied. So date underscore applied. Okay, so this is done. Now I will close my tr, and after the tr closing I will also close my function. So this is closed. Let's see if it's working fine or not. If I'm going here, I will refresh it. I'm applying to it, and if I'm going to apply it, you can see the company that you are applied is coming here with the company name, the link of the company, and the date that you have applied, which is 4th November 2022. So we have done our applied part, and we have seen the saw part. You can see it's almost doing that. I have seen this company, and you can go to apply part and you can see the company that you have applied. Now, so this was the part. Let's do a recap of everything. Just, I mean, the revision of everything. So first we made a server, and we made a small, easy app using a server, just returning the hello world. Then we have used a file in which we have mentioned the company's title and name and everything. So we are using the file name here. We are using in EGS for making the views part. So it is also a view engine. Then as we are using a file system, your view engine should know that which file you are referring to. That's why we are saying that read file to this file variable. So we are doing everything. Now, when you are using applied, you should know that when you are applying to a particular company, it should be applied true, and job apply, a date applied should be the date of today. Okay. Now we are converting it to string form and going to another company. When we are doing for the song, it should be that we have visited this company, right? Like we have made an applied page, you can make the same page for the visited page. Like what are the companies that you have visited? You have to do the same thing, but just make it as company dot visited, not company dot applied. Same thing. Now when you are rendering second page, that is the applied page, you need to render all the companies that you have applied. So we are filtering it according to the companies that you have applied, because when you apply to a particular company, it will make that applied colon true in the file system. So it will go and automatically filter out all the companies that you have applied, and it will render it on your page. Now this will run in the port 8000. Second thing that we made was the different things that we want to do with the buttons, like the event listener, click on click. So we have done only the success and failure part here, that whenever we will get success, it should uh, send okay request, and whenever we will get any error, it should send the error request, error message. Now in the view engine, similarly, we have done this part as HTML, but the advantage of HTML over EJS was you can dynamically render your data on the website and don't need any other JavaScript for it. So that's why we use EJS. So you can see that we have dynamically rendered the loop, we have dynamically rendered the conditions and getting the value from the database dynamically. And similarly, we have done for the apply also. So this was all from my side. I hope you have enjoyed a lot. So if you have any doubt, you can post it on the chat box, and all the files and all the codes will be attached in the description box. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone. Bye bye. Have a great, great day.